America is the greatest place on earth.
When it comes to American nationalism,
the other parts of being a musician, a touring musician, is you travel and you see America and you see the rest of the world. So I've been everywhere except South America and mainland Asia. And in that process of seeing America in all its different formats and forces, you know, the definition of America kept changing as I would go to a different city. And it didn't fit the mold that I was told that this is, you know, the land of the free and the home of the brave and the beautiful this and the beautiful that. I was like, no, there's some very ugly things here. You know, I never knew about Pine Ridge. What is Pine Ridge, South Dakota? You know, what is Camden, New Jersey? Why does that look like this? How is this? How do we live, if our country is so rich and so beautiful and so powerful, why do we possess one of the poorest places in the Western Hemisphere with a poverty rate and an infant mortality rate second only to Haiti?
Chicago's own Lupe Fiasco isn't feeling it through his own lived experiences.
We come to Iraq with respect for its citizens, for their great civilization.
A blatant lie on top of thousands from the U.S.
For me, it's like I'm trying to fight the terrorism that's actually causing the other forms of terrorism. You know, the root causes of the terrorism is the stuff that the U.S. government allows to happen. You know, and the foreign policies that we have in place in different countries that inspire people to become terrorists. You know, and it's easy for us because it's really just some oil, which we can really get on our own.
Through his lyrics, Lupe has been preaching this for decades.
Even the sneaker thing. I was on social media last night. Very interesting, as you see black support eroding from Joe Biden. This is connecting with black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love the, you know, this is a big deal, certainly in the inner city.
Look, they said it.
You don't have to listen to my music, you know. Why do you have to subject yourself to such this onslaught of just negativity every day? You know, that's why I can't listen to the radio. It's like I can listen to the radio for one day and wait 3 months and then turn it on again and get another dose just to make sure. Like I listen to Fox News, but like the Patriot, like the crazy news station where they really go in every like couple months just to remind myself that it's still nonsense out there. And that's the only reason I listen to it. It's like, yeah, that's still crazy.
And he treats Fox News as such.
It's taking the lessons that I learned from Howard and kind of, you know, trying to mimic some of that bravery, you know, and mimic some of that, I call it Baldwinian rudeness. James Baldwin was a big force in this as well, to capture some of that rudeness and the truth.
To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a state of rage. Almost all of the time.
Complaining to lawmakers in the Oval Office about protections for immigrants. Why do we want these people from, quote, all these shithole countries here?
When he heard these comments, Lupe felt compelled to change his tune on going to the polls. For help or harm, I've never voted in my life, a dedicated abstainer. But due to circumstances beyond my control and the overall unpleasant racist blankness of our president and the Republican members of Congress that echo his sentiments subtly or otherwise, I'll be voting this fall. He'd add straight Democratic ticket, no reservations, no hesitations. Republicans need a timeout. I could accept closet racism, but this Haiti and Africa asshole talk is unacceptable. They gotta go, all of them. Vote straight Democratic ticket November 6th. This was a very, very different tune. And you don't have to go too far back. In 2013, when performing at an inauguration party in Washington, D.C., Lupe kept playing an anti-war song called Words I Never Said, one of his best, by the way, which criticized every politician who participated, Republicans and Democrats. That's when men in suits flocked the stage and escorted him off.
The United States is not a bad nation, it's a noble nation. And then you go out there and you talk to a lot of younger people, and this is what gets me. That your constituency are not exactly political science PhDs, okay? They're impressionable kids.
I don't think that matters. I don't think you need to have a
they
political
listen to you,
PhD
Mr.
to understand,
They listen to
understand politics. To understand politics, I don't think you necessarily need that. And I don't think that politics are as complex as people like to make them seem or out to be.
He has sparred with Bill O'Reilly.
Malcolm X was a preacher. You know, Martin Luther King was a preacher. Jesus was a preacher. You know, and people have no problem with them being preachers. But at the same time, too, people had one hell of a problem with them being preachers. You know, so what side do you take? Do you take the side of the Romans? You know, do you take the side of the Ku Klux Klan? You know, do you take the side of COINTELPRO? And you say, yeah, they're preachers, and they should just be, you know, why they got to talk to us so much? We kind of know, you know, if you take that side, or do you take the side of the people, of their message, of what they were saying, and how deep and meaningful it was, and the risks that they took to now, after their unfortunate demises, that they are the standard of humanity. Those preachers are the standard of humanity from a religious context. And if you're an atheist, okay, then you have James Baldwin. And if you don't like black homosexuals, then okay, there's Malcolm X. And if you don't like black Muslims, okay, then here's here's Martin Luther King. If you don't like Martin Luther King, then here's Howard Zinn. And there were these people pointing fingers, who are now the standards of what humanity is, and morality and ethics, and compassion. So hell yeah, I'm a preacher.
Spoke on the greats.
I'm from Chicago. We all recognize Chirac, but we also do this. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We also do this too. We make music about bringing things to life too. In Chirac, same, that kid from the west side of Chicago with all his friends being gangbangers. He can make songs about bringing things to life. So, for me it's personal. So that's why I can just vibe with the record no matter what, in the car by myself, because I know what that is. And then make music that I felt like, if I die tomorrow, I want songs to be like that. I want you to remember what I did like that. Lupe put that into the world.
And understands his legacy, the imprint he wishes to leave. If there are any stories we missed, if there are any that you would like to submit to me, get at me and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. DMs are open. I welcome your submissions and much appreciation in advance. In addition, to keep us going, to keep the network going as a whole, please, if you can, become a member. All of our content is free. You can make a donation as little as $5. Go to tyt.com/join. When it comes to Lupe Fiasco, what I see is a man who is morally aligned by trying to expose the people who are in positions of power while also seeing that they have the same corporate interests. And that is a message that we have here. I'm not always going to agree with every single person that I see, but when it comes to lyricism, when it comes to telling the story, painting the picture, going that distance, going to the line and saying F it, I don't even think there should be a line, and going a full football field over it, that's Lupe Fiasco with his writing. What he has done when Ahmaud Arbery was killed by the police. Words I Never Said, I still think is one of the hardest political songs that I have ever heard. The classics all the way down to Tetsuo in Youth. All of it has been incredible to watch, especially when following his work from a very, very early stage, knowing that he is a Chicago guy. If he were to be in the tiers, he would probably be in the top tier for me. And what I also find to be pretty interesting is when he was talking about branding, and he was talking about how the label, when he was with Atlantic, wanted to spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to go send him to do a car wash of radio hits, TV hits, yada yada, when he even knew his fans aren't listening to the radio. His fans that he has aren't really about that. But what they were trying to do is say, you need to go get the Jay-Z fans and the Miley fans, when it's just not going to work. And he knew it from an early stage as well. It almost feels like everyone knows how good he is, but we still wait for the day that dude gets his flowers. And at this point, he's probably not even expecting them, but he deserves them.